Welcome to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today, we're diving into a powerful thought experiment from political philosophy, the veil of ignorance. The veil of ignorance is a concept introduced by philosopher John Rawls to help us think about fairness and justice in society. It asks us to imagine designing a society without knowing what position we'd occupy within it. It's like being asked to cut a cake that you'll share, but not knowing which slice you'll get. You're incentivized to cut it fairly. This mental model encourages us to think beyond our current circumstances and consider what would be truly fair for everyone. Let's look at a hypothetical example. Imagine you're tasked with designing an education system, but you don't know if you'll be born into a wealthy family in a big city or a poor family in a rural area. You don't know your innate talents or disabilities. How would you structure the system to be fair for everyone? You'd likely advocate for equal access to quality education, support for students with different needs, and opportunities for advancement based on merit. It's like designing a game where you don't know which character you'll play. You'd want it to be balanced and fair for all players. In the business world, the veil of ignorance can be a powerful tool for creating fair policies and practices. Companies might use this principle when designing compensation structures, promotion criteria, or workplace safety regulations. Imagine creating a parental leave policy not knowing if you'd be a CEO, a new parent, or a childless employee. You'd likely aim for a policy that balances the needs of the business with fair support for employees. It's like creating rules for a sports league where you don't know which team you'll play for. You'd focus on what's fair for the sport as a whole. So how can we apply the veil of ignorance in our daily lives? Firstly, we can use it to cultivate empathy and fairness in our personal relationships. When there's a conflict or decision to be made, try to step back and consider the situation as if you didn't know which person you'd be. How would you want the situation resolved if you could be any of the involved parties? It's like being a referee in a game where you have friends on both teams. You strive for impartiality. Secondly, we can apply it to our civic engagement and political views. When considering policies or voting decisions, try to think beyond your current circumstances. How would you want society structured if you didn't know your place in it? This can lead to more nuanced and compassionate political perspectives. It's like city planning where you imagine living in every neighbourhood, not just your own. Lastly, we can use this model in our professional lives when making decisions that affect others. If you're a manager setting team policies, imagine not knowing whether you'd be the manager or any of your team members. How would you want the workplace structured? This can lead to fairer, more inclusive practices. It's like designing an office layout without knowing which desk will be yours. In conclusion, the veil of ignorance is a powerful tool for promoting fairness and justice. By encouraging us to think beyond our current circumstances, it helps us make more ethical and equitable decisions. While it's impossible to truly step behind a veil of ignorance in real life, the exercise of imagining it can broaden our perspective and lead to more just outcomes. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. Until next time, may your decisions be fair, your perspective be broad, and your veil of ignorance lead you to greater empathy and justice. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by thepodcasthost.com and Alitu, the podcast maker. Find your own free podcast music over at thepodcasthost.com/free music.